going live. Director, we are live.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is the August 12th, 2021 Zoning Administrator hearing. And this is a virtual meeting. Effective March 27, 2020, the Mendocino County Zoning Administrator meeting will be conducted virtually and not available for in-person public participation. Pursuant to State Executive Order N29-20. Meetings are live streamed and available for viewing on the Mendocino County YouTube page. And with that, it is 1:30, so I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. Please get a determination of noticing.
Legal notice has been determined.
All right. So that moves us to the regular calendar, and this is item 3A, case U 2021-003, and this is a continued item from July 8th, and the owner is the Roman Catholic Bishop of Santa Rosa. The applicant is St. Elizabeth Seton Catholic Mission. Agent is John Schultz. The request is a minor use permit for construction of a 1,050 square feet outdoor pavilion to be used for religious purposes, or services, excuse me. Applicant proposes future modifications to pavilion with the intention of fully enclosing it. Project has been deemed categorically exempt from CEQA. Project is located 1.8 plus or minus miles northwest of Boonville Town Center, located on the west side of State Route 128. And approximately 0.1 miles northwest of the intersection of with Road 150A, located at 12761 Anderson Valley Way in Boonville. Assessor's parcel number 046200-75. And please get a staff report.
Yes, Mark Weiser, and planner for this project. I'd like to state first the project was continued from last month due to a revision to the project description. The construction is now for a 2,400 square foot outdoor pavilion. So this is to allow for the construction of the 2,400 square foot outdoor pavilion with a height of 25 feet to be used for religious assembly. There will be grading of approximately 4,200 square feet for the pavilion and a plaza. The plaza will be used for church members to congregate before and after Mass. The applicant may modify the pavilion by fully enclosing it in the future. Those modifications will require modifications to this use permit prior to any construction, and this is reflected in condition number 19. The project, as stated, is located approximately 1.8 miles northwest of Boonville, just southeast of State Route 128, and is accessed from Anderson Valley Way. The project was referred to Mendocino County Department of Transportation. They responded with no comment at this time. Parking for 48 to 50 cars, including ADA parking, will be provided. Condition number 15 states parking and driveways on site shall be surfaced with gravel or other material sufficient to control dust. The subject property is approximately 8.7 acres and is zoned rural residential with a 5-acre minimum. Structures currently on site include a barn, a garage, a 1,740 square foot single family home. This is utilized for storage. A 1,500 square foot home, which is a long-term rental, a well house, and 4 storage structures. No modifications to existing structures is proposed. The 2 family homes are currently served by septic and 2 wells. While the pavilion is open, restrooms in the single-family residence will be utilized. Should the applicant move forward with modifications to enclose the structure, the Mendocino County Department of Environmental Health requires finalization on septic permit ST 1076, and this is reflected in condition number 18. Can I have the mouse in the presentation? This is the.
Share screen.
Do I need to share screen?
Yeah.
This is the parcel. The pavilion will be approximately here. This is about 31 feet from State Route 128. The setback for this parcel is 30 feet. The nearest single-family residence is here. It's about 450 feet from the pavilion. Other structures on the pavilion are the existing barn, and this is the single-family home which will be used for restrooms while the pavilion is open air. Staff has received comments from the public with concerns about potential noise and has instructed the applicant to do a noise survey using a decibel meter. The applicant did so, and exterior noise limit standards for this project were not exceeded. Currently, they stand at 50 decibels between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m., and the reading brought in decibel levels of about 40 from 152 feet from the pavilion. Condition number 13 addresses potential noise and states use of a sound system shall not create audio that exceeds 50 decibels and that speakers be directed in a northerly direction away from the residential area and towards State Route 128. Project findings for general plan and zoning consistency have been made. The project is located within Zone Z of the Boonville Airport. As a public building, the proposed use is compatible with the zone. The project was reported to the Airport Land Use Commission and no comments were received. Staff feels that with the inclusion of conditions number 12 and 13 regarding noise, the project will not constitute a nuisance or be detrimental to the health, safety, peace, morals, comfort, or general welfare of persons residing or working or passing through the neighborhood. Staff has determined the project is categorically exempt from CEQA under Class 3 exemption and recommends approval of the project with conditions.
Okay, I have a question of staff. This is a pavilion where folks are going to gather after mass and so on. Has this been looked at for ADA requirements? Is the building department, they didn't comment on this?
They did not.
Okay, so I think the building department may require ADA requirements because of the occupancy
Okay.
of the structure. But that's determined or will be done at the time of the building permit. Okay, so with that, thank you.
If I may pause for just one moment, we seem to be having technical difficulties again. Don't know what the problem is.
Oh,
We're just gonna pause the meeting for a moment. The screen does not come back. When we hit share screen, it went black.
It's still audio though, so.
Yeah, I've muted. We had audio for it, but the screen share did not come up.
so can anybody hear us right now?
No,
No.
I've muted us.
But I just want to let Mr. Schultz know that we're technical.
Go ahead, you're unmuted.
Mr. Schultz, we have technical difficulties right now. I will bring you, or I will ask that you speak in just a moment. I just want you to hang in there. We seem to be having problems with the video. So please hang in there. We'll be right back.
I think we have to exit Zoom and go back in.
So mute. Can INS fix this stuff? It's getting annoying.
It is,
Well, we
There's
just can't,
one
we
thing-
can't do screen share anymore, because that's what ruins it.
yeah,
Because
that's what's wrong.
Julie was sharing screening from her laptop, when she
Uh-huh.
was doing sharing screen.
Oh, is that how it should?
Yeah, it's just how she was doing it.
Well, it's not your fault. Don't worry about it. It's just problems with this. You should be able to share screen. I mean, I can share screen on my desk.
I think it's only when we're using this Epson
Yeah.
machine that the issue occurs. In the terms of screen sharing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it could be to do with the streaming software.
might be. But you know, one of the things is you need to share the screen to get an idea. I mean, that up there is much easier to read than what's in here.
Mm.
So I like the being able, and then you need to have the public see what you're pointing at, what you're referring to. So
Yeah.
we gotta get this thing fixed.
Where's the right?
Sorry.
That's on the webinar, isn't it?
That's what webinar ID.
No, it's just the screen looks weird for me for the.
No, when you guys sign it off, it kicks everyone out.
Yeah.
Well, when we did it last time, when we got back on, everyone was
I think
there.
everybody had to join back again.
Because this, when you guys were doing CPA, I got kicked off.
Oh, you
So
did.
you did.
Okay, oh, we're getting picture online,
All right,
there's picture there,
But we don't have our attendee.
but we
Laura,
don't
can
have
you
our
call
attendee.
attendee? Just use
And
this phone.
now we're muted.
So make sure you do the 9-1.
Am I muted?
Yep.
It's dial 9.
did we lose him? The attendee?
Yeah, we did.
That's what I wanted to say, we'll be right back. Hang in there.
Well, no, I think we
got
didn't
kicked
lose
off.
it. Yeah, he got kicked off. So I don't think
I don't
he's
know.
aware that he can
I don't know
sign
what this
back on
phone-
now.
707
Uh-huh.
545 7519.
The party you are trying to reach does not accept
Here's
calls
try
from
another
numbers with caller ID blocked. Please unblock your number by dialing
How do I?
Oh,
Hey,
dial-
two.
dial 8.
82.
No,
82.
no, I got another number.
Wow, what is
9801 580
580
1851.
158.
No, 1851.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's one. 9, 1.
801 580 1851.
His cell number.
Hi, this is John. I'm on a cell ring. Would like to hear from you. Please leave me a message and I'll return your call as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.
Hey, John, it's Mark. We're in hearing now. If you get this, please sign back on. Thank you.
What is the other number?
707 545 7510. That's the offices.
the party you are trying to reach does not accept calls with caller ID blocked. Please unblock your number by dialing *82 and try your call again.
Oh, you have to
Maybe
dial
star
*82 their phone.
Do I do
number.
9 first or star first?
Nine.
9.
Star.
82.
No. You probably can't do
Oh,
it
no,
on
he's
her.
back. He's
Oh, he's
back.
back.
Good.
Oh, goodness.
You got your message, Mark. All right,
Allow to come.
You're muted.
all right, let's go.
Directors
All right.
who are unmuted.
So we've heard the staff report, and now at this point in time, I'd like to go ahead and hear from the applicant, Mr. Schultz.
Mr. Schultz, you want to unmute your computer?
Or if you're on your phone, it's *6.
Good afternoon, Mr. Schultz. I'm going to go ahead and have you address the zoning administrator. And is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, well, my name comes up and it blanks the screen, I can't even see you. I would like to talk about number 10, number 12, and number 13.
Go right ahead.
On number 10, on number 12, it says that we're available to use the property from 7 in the morning to 10 in the evening, which that's just fine. But on number 10, it says outdoor lighting shall be turned off at 7. Well, if we turn off the lighting at 7, how do we operate till 10? So I don't understand that. It also says 24-hour security lighting should be exempt, but any exterior security lighting shall have motion sensor. So are we talking two different types of security lighting? And then also on the use of a sound system on number 13, speakers shall be directed to the highway. We have been using the property for over a year and a half. We have never had one single complaint from any of our neighbors. So it doesn't, and then I took Mark's suggestion and got a decibel meter, and we went out, and at 152 feet, directly in line with our speakers, over a 25-minute music and our pastor's sermon, the highest decibel reading was 45, but the average was 27. So we're nowhere near coming to the county's 60 decibel rating. So it seems like it's just, it doesn't make logical sense why number 13 is even there with regard to the way the speakers point, because we are not coming close to the county limit of 60 decibels.
13 I show in the staff report is applicant shall employ best management practices. So Mark, which condition are we looking at here?
Well, Mr. Schultz addressed condition number 10 and talked about lighting being turned off at 7 p.m. I do see now how that could be confusing. That lighting should be shielded and downcast to prohibit it from being cast beyond property boundaries. That could be rewritten that outdoor lighting shall be shielded and downcast at 7 p.m. in the evenings. To clarify that.
Is there a hard and fast rule that everything has to be turned off by 10 o'clock?
No.
So, or by 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, to avoid any confusion and rewriting of other conditions, because they can use the property till 10 p.m. Does staff have an issue in changing 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.?
No, provided it is shielded and downcast.
Okay. So I can accept a change to 10 p.m. from 7 p.m. Because I think what'll happen is you've got hours of operation, and that's even number 12 as well, because it says 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So to avoid any confusion and changes, I think number 10 should be changed. Mr. Schultz, do you have any other concerns or comments?
Well, the only one, I guess, would be, I have no problem with the 10 p.m. I think that's absolutely fine. The only thing that I would address is that there is a possibility, and only a possibility, of a midnight mass on Christmas Eve. Would there be a way to just put that in? But that's the only one time a year, and it may not occur that often, because we are a mission and our pastor is the pastor of St. Mary's. So when there is a midnight mass, he would be there. So it would have to be a visiting priest if one was even available. But just, it's just a single day.
Mr. Zoning Administrator, or Coastal Permit Administrator? if I
Actually,
may.
zoning administrator.
Oh, sorry, we are in zoning administrator, okay. If I may, through the zoning administrator, Sam Vandy Vandewater, senior planner. It appears that you have the old version in front of you that was for the hearing of last month. There are now several additional conditions that have been included that do not appear to be in your packet,
Oh,
which is why condition 13 does not appear to be the speaker condition on your list.
how about the resolution? Is that the current one?
The resolution should have a total of 20 conditions,
Yes,
so this is the correct one.
the resolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that was also placed online when I posted the matter.
All right, so,
But not to detract, I believe Mr. Schultz just requested having a special exemption for a Christmas.
right.
um,
So let's examine condition number 12. It says religious services in life shall be limited to the hours of operation of 7 a.m. through 10 p.m. And so air horns and similar, similar noise creating devices are prohibited. Mr. Schultz, question.
Yes.
The midnight mass.
Yes.
The midnight mass runs from 12 a.m. until 1 a.m.?
Probably 1 a.m. to 1:30.
All right.
And on the 24-hour security lighting that's exempt, that's more of a dawn to dusk type lighting system, correct?
Yes. So I have a question for staff, and they're asking for a one-time per year Christmas mass, which shall be permitted, and again, I'm looking at modifying condition number 12 to provide for that. And that would read just as the condition reads, but I would add a sentence that says, this condition shall not apply to a one-time per year Christmas mass, which shall be permitted from 11 p.m. to 1:30 a.m.
If I may, through the zoning administrator, I would like to add that notice be given to neighbors prior to this event.
Are we looking at adjacent neighbors, or are we looking at how far of a radius?
I would think just adjacent neighbors are going to be the only ones that might notice that lights will be on.
But if I may, again, the zoning administrator, we have received comments from the public, and one of those comments was from neighbors across the Anderson Valley Way. So I feel maybe a 600-foot radius that would encompass the adjacent neighbors as well as potentially neighbors immediately across Anderson Valley Way.
And on number 13, if we could just eliminate the sentence, speakers shall be directed north or northeast, as logically we are not disturbing our neighbors. We've already proved that with the decibel meter. And the fact that the pavilion now will, instead of being 152 feet, which is where I measured it, it's going to be 323 feet from the closest neighbor, which reduces the decibel rating even more. So there's really no logical reason to discuss how the speakers are placed because we are not at all infringing upon the 60 decibel range. In fact, it's almost half of what the county code is.
If I may, I think staff is comfortable with eliminating that, provided that decibel readings do remain below, and it's 50 dBA in a residential area.
That would be that would be terrific.
Well, I think the way the condition is written, it just says, audio, it says, shall not create audio that exceeds 50 decibels.
Right.
Okay,
And then we just eliminate this, the next sentence.
the next sentence. Okay. So I have condition number 10 basically shows a request to go from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Condition number 12 would now read, religious services and related activities shall be limited to the hours of 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Air horns and any similar noise-creating devices are prohibited. See Appendix C of Division 1 of Title 20 of the Mendocino County Code. New sentence would read, this condition shall not apply to a one-time per year Christmas Mass, which shall be permitted from 11 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. with notice provided to neighbors within 600 feet prior to December 24th of each year. Does that work for everybody? Okay. And then condition number 13 would strike out the last sentence, speakers shall be directed at north-northeast towards Highway 128. Okay, anything else, Mr. Schultz?
Well, the only other thing, I guess maybe it's a small thing. I was under the impression that by this use permit, by notifying that we intend to enclose it at some future point, that we wouldn't need to apply for another use permit, but obviously we would need to apply for all the proper building permits to physically enclose the building. That was number 19.
The way the use permit request is written, it says minor use permit for the construction of a 1,050 square foot outdoor pavilion to be used for religious services. Applicant proposes future modifications to pavilion with the intention to fully enclose it. You are subject to a building permit should you enclose it.
No, I totally understand that. I just didn't understand that it said a modification of the use permit. I didn't know that we had to modify the use permit.
No, it's a modification of the pavilion. So.
Right. But it's a minor thing. I just was
Yeah,
under
no,
maybe a
it's
different
fine.
impression.
clarification, I'm proposing a new condition, condition number 21. Should the applicant / owner wish to enclose the pavilion at a future date, only a building permit for said work will be necessary, and the owner shall secure said permit prior to commencing enclosure of the pavilion. That'll clarify things in the future. Should the applicant, let's say 5 years from now, come in and say, I would like to enclose it, there's no issue with regards to, is there a question, is there what regarding the modification of the use permit? This way, the condition basically says they need a building permit if they're going to enclose it. And that's my proposal on this, and I think Mr. Schultz will be happy that, or should be rest assured that he's not going to have to come in and modify the use permit years from now when he decides to enclose it. Does that work for you, Mr. Schultz?
That's just fine.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
All right, so moving on, at this point, I'd like to go ahead and hear from the public. Do we have any members of the public wishing to speak on this matter?
Nobody sent a telecomment form
All right.
or any kind of correspondence.
All right, so I'll return it back to the zoning administrator. And based on the modifications to the conditions and clarifications, I will go ahead and approve the request for the construction of a pavilion at on assessor's parcel number 046-200-75, specifically located at, what is our address? 12761 Henderson Valley Way in Boonville. So that is the decision of the zoning administrator with the modification specifically to condition number 10, changing 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Condition number 12, adding the additional language for a one-time per year Christmas Mass, and the addition of condition number 21 that addresses the building permit, and then also striking out the last sentence in condition number 13. All right, so it's approved per findings in the staff report, but modifications to conditions. All right, so with that said, are there any matters, moving on to item number 4, are there any matters from staff? No matters from, is there any matters from the public? Don't see any public. All right, so I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 2:03 p.m. Mr. Schultz, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
All right, thanks everybody.